Hello, it's Kerry Ann here from the Obstacle Buster channel. Thank you for joining me today. We're going to be talking about how to build self-confidence. And that is something, when we look around these days, that seems to be lacking in so many people. And there's a great cry, I've got no confidence. I can't do this, I can't do that. How to build self-confidence. Let me start by asking you a question, and then I will share a few tips that will help you know how to build self-confidence and self-esteem. They're very closely related. Let's start with you right here and now. How do you see yourself? Self-esteem is how you see yourself. Are you happy and cheerful? Are you sad and miserable? Are you a ball of energy or completely lacking in motivation? How do you see yourself today? The good news is that however you see yourself, it can be changed. You can change the way you think, feel, and see yourself, because self-esteem, like self-confidence, isn't a thing. It's not something physical or a hormonal imbalance that can be fixed with a change of diet, a pill, or physical therapy. To esteem something is to regard something very highly, to admire and to respect. And self-esteem is a gauge of how positively you view yourself. Confidence is the feeling or belief that you can rely on or have faith in something, in someone, or have self-confidence in yourself, the belief that you have in your own ability to successfully achieve a good and positive desired outcome. Self-confidence is a superpower. Once you start to believe in yourself, magic starts happening. And this is something you'll hear me say a couple of times throughout this video. Self-confidence is a superpower. Once you start to believe in yourself, magic starts happening. It's a belief you have in your own abilities to successfully achieve a good and a positive desired outcome. Isn't that what we all want in life? Recognize that both self-esteem and self-confidence are feelings. So if these are both feelings, then the question becomes, where did these feelings I have about myself come from? As the names self-confidence and self-esteem imply, they came from self. Me, you, within yourself, within myself. Self-esteem is our measurement or gauge of how positively we see ourselves, how closely we come to meeting our own expectations, and how we measure up to our potential as the type of person we want to be. Let me say that again. Self-confidence implies that the feelings come from within. They come from within us. And it's our measurement or our gauge of how positively we view ourselves, how closely I come to meeting my own expectations, and how I measure up to my potential of the type of person I want to be. It's ultimately your measuring stick. Regardless of what is happening around you, your self-esteem is not determined by what someone else thinks, and it is not determined by what someone else does. It is determined purely by you and what you feel and how you act upon your feelings, because it comes from within you. Sure, it may be influenced by external forces, but you have no control over your No, let me say that again. You have control over your measuring stick. Yes, there may be people who are saying terrible things about you or constantly tearing you down, running you down, pulling you apart. But your self-esteem is your gauge, your measuring stick of how you see yourself. It's not dependent on what anyone else says about you. Recognize, because it's a feeling, recognize that feelings are like the weather and they can change. We all know we can be happy and up 1 minute and then sad and miserable the next, because they're feelings, and our feelings are determined by our circumstance. And what we're aiming to do is look at our self-esteem and self-confidence, yes, as feelings, but as feelings that we have control over and that we are the master of. We are aware of how other people perceive us and what they think of us. And that can certainly affect how we feel about ourselves. If we're constantly being put down or criticised or bullied or made to feel unworthy or not good enough, then those negative images will begin to take on a life of their own. And we will indeed begin to reflect exactly that. And I want to show you a few tips on how to build self-confidence and self-esteem. Always remember, we become what we think about. Remember, we've talked about that before. We become what we think about. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. If you were asked to describe yourself in one word, what would that word be? Would it be something like honest, faithful, obsessed, driven, compassionate, humorous, empathetic, or any myriad of other possibilities? I like to think of myself as a generous person, generous in my time, generous in my offers to help people, generous in my financial help to other people, generous in giving of myself to other people. That's how I like to see myself. I wonder though, would other people describe me as that kind of person? Just have a think for a moment. Write down the word that you think you would like to describe yourself as, and then ask yourself, well, would other people see me like that? I'm reminded of the story, and I'm quite sure you've all heard about it. If you watched My Big Fat Greek Wedding, and it's one of my old favourites, and you'll remember at the reception, the father of the bride, Greek obviously, was giving his father of the bride speech. And the bride was marrying a young Anglo-American man by the name of Ian Miller. And the father of the bride had a habit, if you remember the story, of taking all the words in the English language back to their Greek roots. And many of our English words certainly do have Greek roots. And he's giving this speech at the wedding ceremony, and he said, now, Mila comes from the Greek word milos, and milos means apple. And as you all know, we portocola, and portocolas come from the Greek word portocoli. Portocoli means orange. So apples and oranges. We different, but we all fruit. And that therein lies a great secret. Apples and oranges, don't ever compare yourself with other people. Because we are all different, we are all unique. We have all got our own unique personalities and characteristics that make us uniquely you. And you have got to believe in yourself, because that's when the magic starts to happen. So I would like to refer to that one word as the foundation for you to project yourself, a reflection of who you are. That word that you would like to describe yourself as, whether it's generous, whether it's loving, whether it's kind, whether it's thoughtful, whether it's mature, whatever word you, industrious, helpful, whatever word you would like to describe you, and you would like others to describe you as too and remember you as, think of that word as being the most crucial element of yourself if you are to be successful and happy with being you. That is, you must be authentic to being you. In other words, you've got to be real. Everyone can tell a fake a mile away. You've got to be real for it to be real. The picture you project to the world and the one people see must be a true reflection of who you really are. People will see right through anyone who is pretending to be something they are not. Can you say that I have great self-esteem, I have high self-esteem, and I'm happy with the way I live? I am super confident. I can do anything. I can do anything that I'm asked or that I put my mind to. Either way, if you're wondering how to build your self-esteem and your self-confidence, here are some of my top tips. 1, begin by thinking positive thoughts about yourself. Follow this through by always speaking positive messages, both to yourself and about yourself. So think positive thoughts. Remember, we are what we think about. Think positive thoughts and follow it through by speaking positive things about yourself. Because as we spoke about already, our ears, we hear, they're the gateway to the mind. And what we hear goes in and it forms our thoughts. So speak positive thoughts about yourself. Oh, yes, I can do it. No more, oh, I'm useless, I'm worthless, oh, hopeless. Don't let that come out of your mouth at all, because remember, you will become what you say and what you think about. You will become. Remove negativity, including people. That's a great tip. Switch off if it's coming through the television. Change channel. You're in control of the television channel as well. Just switch channels if it's negative, because it will influence you and it will affect the way you think and the way you feel. Remove negativity. That might also include limiting time with negative people, because the effect that negative people have on us can be a real downer and spoil our day. Listen daily to positive messages and affirmations. That's my 4th tip for you. Listen daily to positive messages and affirmations. I start every day off by listening to one of the best motivational speakers, I think, anyway, around. And so easy to listen to, a guy by the name of Joel Osteen. A fabulous speaker, always full of positive messages, always ready to lift you up and speak good things into your life. So start your day by listening to positive messages or affirmations, or even reading a good book. start your day with that. The next tip, nobody's perfect and you won't be either. So be kind to yourself because you will make mistakes and you'll slip back into your negative habits. It is a habit and habits, we'll talk one day about habits. In fact, that might be my tomorrow's talk for you about habits, and I've got a great, you'll love it, a great little verse that you'd just love to listen to over and over again. I'll bring you that tomorrow, okay? So if you mark up, if you fail, don't worry. No one's perfect, so be kind to yourself. Move on quickly. Just, I really mucked that up tonight. Okay, toss it aside and move on. And change your thought pattern very quickly from negative to positive. Focus on what you can change and believe in yourself. Remember, I said when I was a kid I had freckles on my arms and I hated them. But I couldn't change that. It's not anything I can change. But I can change the way I speak to people, the way I relate to people, the way my manners are to people. I can change that. So focus on the things that you can change and believe in yourself. Remember, self-confidence is a superpower. Once you start to believe in yourself, the magic starts happening. So once you start to believe in yourself, magic starts happening. Believe in yourself. I can do it. I will do it. I can do it. Nothing is going to stop me. And if you have that kind of attitude, then magic will start happening. You'll find the universe will respond to it too, and magic will start happening in your life. Do what makes you happy. Be happy. No one likes to be around the grump. Everyone tends to avoid them or, leave the room real quick. So do what makes you happy and celebrate the small stuff. If you resist having that yummy, tempting cake for morning tea when you're trying to lose some weight, if you resist it, celebrate that small stuff. Not by having a cake, but just celebrate it and say, whoopee, I'm proud of me for doing that, and celebrate and enjoy the little victories that you have for yourself, because that will encourage you. You're your best encourager. You need to be your best cheerleader, because there are so many people out there who will put us down, quick to put us down, and we live in a world at the moment where so much is happening that makes us feel hopeless and like everything's hopeless. Don't let your feelings get caught up in the circumstances around you, because you can't change a lot of those things. You can only change what is within you. So my suggestion to you today is to focus on you and your thoughts and your words, and keep yourself healthy. I'm Kerry Ann from the Obstacle Buster, and I hope today these tips on how to build your self-confidence have really been a help to you, and I'd love to hear from you. Leave your comments in the message box below the video, and I'd love to hear from you. I look forward to hearing your comments. Thank you very much again for having me on your screen. I'm Kerry Ann from the Obstacle Buster. I trust you have enjoyed how to build self-confidence. Thank you. Good night.